What if I told you there is a way to make significant changes in your life without feeling overwhelmed? I changed my life by making tiny, everyday changes, and you can change yours too. These are called micro habits. Micro habits are tiny, everyday changes that can add up to make a big impact over time. If you're new here, my name is Celeste, also known as Celestial Goddess. Talk about all things manifestation, mental health, spirituality, and anything else of that nature. If that speaks to you, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe so you don't miss weekly motivation and growth tools. We've all been there, wanting to make significant changes in our life, whether it's to get healthier or be more productive or improve our relationships. But let's be honest, making big changes can be overwhelming. You might feel like you need to completely overhaul your daily routine, start exercising for hours a day, or drastically change your diet. The problem is, when faced with such monumental tasks, it's easy to become paralyzed and just give up. This feeling of being paralyzed is common. You might start strong, but as the days go by, the initial motivation wears off, and you're left with the daunting task of sustaining massive change. It's like trying to climb a mountain without any training. It can be discouraging and feel impossible. The truth is, our brain is wired to resist drastic changes. We tend to stick to what we know and love, even if it's not serving us well. So, how can we overcome this resistance and make meaningful changes in our lives? One of the main reasons we struggle with big changes is that they require a lot of willpower and motivation. But willpower is a limited resource and it's easy to exhaust it. When you're trying to make too many changes at once, you're more likely to burn out. So, what if I told you there's a way to make significant changes in your life without feeling overwhelmed? It's called micro habits. Micro habits are tiny, everyday changes that add up to make a big impact over time. For example, instead of trying to start a new exercise routine that requires you to be at the gym for an hour a day, you could start by doing just 5 to 10 minutes of stretching each morning. Another example is if you want to improve your writing skills. Instead of trying to write a novel in one sitting, you could start by writing just one sentence per day. If you want to reduce your screen time, you could start by turning off your phone for just 30 minutes each evening. Psychological principles behind micro habits are powerful. One of them is compounding. When you do something small every day, it may not seem like much at first, but over time, it can add up to make a significant difference. Another principle is that micro habits have a low barrier to entry. Because they're so small, they're easy to fit into your daily routine and they don't require a lot of motivation or willpower to start. Now, I want to tell you guys about how micro habits have changed my life. I can talk about so many different areas where I've incorporated micro habits, but I'm going to start with something that everyone can kind of relate to, and that is exercise. I've always wanted to be someone who goes to the gym multiple times a week and also strength training multiple times a week. But I would say about a year ago, I would go for about 2 weeks, a couple times a week, and then not go for another 2 weeks. And I would go on and off with this yo yoing of going to the gym and not going to the gym. So, what I started doing is I started doing micro habits where I decided that if I can't go to the gym every single day, what I'm going to try to do is walk for at least 30 minutes a day. And if I could do that a couple times a week, then that means that I have gotten in my steps and also I feel like a healthier version of myself. So I started doing that about a year ago where I would ask my friend to go on walks with me. And so she would come on walks with me, and sometimes I'd go with my mom. And now I go on walks almost every single day. And it was easier for me to incorporate it slowly rather than go from not working out to working out 5 times a week and walking 10K steps a day. That seemed like something very big for my mind to handle. So I started, like I said, with the 30 minutes a day, a couple times a week. And then I started adding almost every day 30 minutes of walking. And eventually I just naturally started going to the gym more often. And now I go to the gym almost 5 times a week and I walk every single day, whether it's on the treadmill or outside. I tried to go outside because I do like to get my sun. Like I said, this was something that I learned through micro habits. Another thing that I learned through micro habits is meditating. I love meditating and I love what it does for my mental health and my brain, but I could not bring myself to meditate every single day for 10 minutes. So, what I did is I did the same thing that I did with the walking. I decided to at least start with 3 times a week meditating 10 minutes a day. And then eventually I went to 4 times a week, then 5 times a week. And now I meditate 6 times a week, at least 10 minutes a day. And I've also added in sometimes 2 times a day. So, like I said, it's easier to do it when you start small and eventually by the end of it. So, a year ago, I'm not the same person I am today. A year ago, I ate unhealthier. I didn't go to the gym regularly. I didn't walk daily and I didn't meditate every day. So now I am becoming more of the person that I want to be, my higher self would want to be, and what I want to align myself to be. And that is someone who eats healthier, meditates every day, walks every day, goes to the gym almost every day. Micro habits have truly changed my life. And another example of this is eating healthy. I am a huge foodie, so I knew that the hardest thing for me was going to be the eating healthy part. But like I said, I did a micro habit change by just deciding that I would eat healthy all day, 3 times a day. So that meant no sodas, no sweets, no alcohol at least 3 times a week for a full day. And it was easier to do this during the week than it was obviously on the weekends. So I gave myself, okay, you have the weekends to still eat whatever you want. It was easier for my brain to incorporate that. And eventually it went from 3 days a week to 4 days a week to now I try to eat mostly every single day, and I allow myself one day, maybe two, to kind of just eat or drink whatever I want. But even then, I still try to not do that because I don't want to build a micro habit of eating bad again. So I feel like that one was really difficult. But once I started seeing how eating healthier, going to the gym, and meditating really helped me on the days that I did do it, um, I decided to add it in more, and it was easier for me to incorporate it because I was already doing it half of the week. So, like if you struggle with meditating, if you can't do 10 minutes a day, you can just do 1 minute a day. And it is possible to meditate for 1 minute a day. It is. And especially with people's attention spans, they can be very limited. And I'm one who my attention span can also be very limited. So just committing to 1 minute of meditation per day or a couple times a week, like I said. At first, it seems insignificant. As you continue to do it every day, you start to feel more calm and focused. Over time, you can gradually increase your meditation time or times per week, and it can become a sustainable part of your daily routine. In conclusion, micro habits have the power to transform your life in profound ways, like it did mine. By making small, consistent changes, you can build new habits and improve your overall well being. It's not about making drastic changes overnight, but about making tiny, everyday changes that add up over time. So, I want to leave you with a challenge. Identify one micro habit that you can implement in your life and share it with me in the comments. And if you're interested in more productivity tips and strategies, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching. I'll put all my links below to the usual things, such as joining my email list, my Linktree. Also, if you want to buy my ebook, you can find that on my Linktree. If you want to book an emotional wellness session with me, you can as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.